Definitely. All right. So here we are. This is the behind the scenes of Today with Pastor Jay, and I have Dr. Rebecca Peck in the studio.
Thank you
And
for
we're going
having
to
me
talk
on.
about Amendment 4. So
Right.
we ready to go in. All right. You ready? What's Tuesday's date? The 5th?
The fifth?
November 5th? Okay. Okay. All right. I'm ready.
You are now tuned in to Today with Pastor Jay on WNZF News Radio, where we discuss inspiring and informative news. And now here's your host, Pastor Jerlyn Denny.
Stop everything you're doing. Just stop right now. Put your coffee down. Turn off the television. Put the newspaper down. That's right. Everything you're doing. Get out the kitchen. Yep. Get on the couch. Have a sit down on the couch. Grab your family. Grab everybody around, because today is the day you need to hear what's about to happen. That's exactly right. This is Pastor Jay, and I'm saying this is my fire alarm right now. We are doing a fire alarm. I need you to listen to everything I'm about to tell you. Are you ready? Baby lives matter. That's it. I'm going to start right there. I'm going to start with that one. And before I introduce my phenomenal guest, I have another one for you. Y'all ready for this? The baby's body isn't your body. Okay, so I'm going to say that. And then I'm going to introduce my phenomenal guest, which we are, and I know for a fact, she's telling everyone right now, November the 5th, to vote no on Amendment 4, and that will be Dr. Rebecca Peck. Thank you so very much I've never done that. Normally, I do this nice little intro that tell everybody, wake up, wake up, wake up, but not today.
All right. You're on fire.
I'm on fire. I am on fire today because this is a subject that I'm very passionate about, very personal about, because Amendment 4, people call it, the abortion amendment and all this. Now, you and we spoke on the phone a little bit, so I'm just going to do a little disclaimer right now. She may not feel the way that I feel. I don't know. I know she and I agree that baby lives matter and that everyone needs to vote on no on Amendment 4. We agree on that. But I may say some things, so I just want to do a little disclaimer because, in my opinion, from the last time I checked, abortion isn't a political issue. It's a moral issue. So let's just talk about that. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Pastor, so much. I'm a busy mom. I have 6 kids.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm a full-time family physician. And for the last 6.5 months, I've been racing around the state talking to people about why they have to vote no on Amendment 4. Now, the other side has been lying. The amendment itself is so very vague. It's only 50 words long, okay? And that means because nothing's defined. And people say, well, this is our health care. This is our reproductive right. Well, first
abortion isn't health care.
Abortion is not health care. And you know how you can tell your friends and convince them? Because only 1% of all physicians choose to do the horrendous surgery that we call abortion, where you rip the baby apart, limb from limb, and suck it out, the woman's uterus. It's morally grotesque. And I went to medical school to be a doctor to help save lives, not to destroy little babies' lives. We are more upset about dogs and cats and animals than the unborn human being.
I've talked to people, I spoke to them a lot, and they tell me some crazy, horrendous things about abortion. First of all, let me be very clear. If you don't want to get pregnant, then keep your legs closed. Let me say it again. If you don't want to get pregnant, keep your legs closed, because guess what happens when you have sex? There's a very good chance you're going to get pregnant.
Right. And we know that 99% of abortions are done for convenience. It's
that
only
brings
1%.
Me to another one. 99% of abortions are done for convenience. So 99% of you, with all these abortion is not birth control.
No, yet I have patients that come in with 7 and 8, and they use it as a form of birth control.
Now, I want to tell you right now, full disclosure, I'm post-abortive. I've had abortions, and the Lord just continued to bless my womb over and over and over again, and I gave birth to 7 beautiful children. I don't even know why His grace and His mercy have fallen upon me like that. But I was in a time I didn't know. I hit the statistics. Young, Black woman. Don't get me started about New York. They have more Black aborted babies than they have born.
The most dangerous place in America is in the womb in New York City.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. And they're trying to bring this stuff here to Florida. So let's talk about this amendment. There's something about this amendment. We're just going to jump right in because I know you've got a lot of information you want to give out there. And as you can tell, I'm very passionate about this. This amendment is worded, let's stick with the facts. This amendment here, in my understanding, just as a regular person here in town, not as a physician. This amendment pretty much will authorize abortions up to 9 months. Is that true?
That's true. And the way you know that is because it says no law shall prohibit, penalize, delay, or restrict abortion before viability. Well, viability is not defined in this amendment. And then there's a little word called or when necessary to protect the patient's health. Patient's health could be anything. It could be you're stressed. It could be you're having last minute jitters. It could mean you have a stomach ache. So basically, the exception gets rid of the rule. In other words, it would allow unregulated abortion up until birth as determined by the patient's healthcare provider. Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
whoa.
whoa.
Where did that come in?
What's a healthcare provider?
Exactly,
That's
because
not defined. That
it's
could be my massage therapist.
exactly in Florida legislative statutes, it could be a secretary, receptionist. And now for the first time
My
today,
nail technician?
your nail technician, you want them
My
doing,
nail technician can barely say my name correctly.
but she could do your late term
But
abortion. That's
here's the
crazy.
thing. Most people can't pronounce Geraldine. So there's that. So come on. Are you serious?
Right. So in current law, you have to be a physician to recommend abortion, to do the abortion. So this is the first sleight of hand. First of all, they're confusing you with the little word or. When they say before
Hmm.
viability, people are thinking, oh, okay, that means about 25 or 26 weeks. It means whatever the abortionist says it means. It could be
And the
what
abortionist, again, could be anybody.
could be anybody. And then patient's health, it means for any condition whatsoever that you and your abortionist dream up, and the abortionist could be any kind of healthcare provider. And then it confuses you further by saying it does require parental notification, but notification is not consent. And so notification could mean I'm going to send your mom an email or
Oh,
your
notification could be after the fact
could be
because it doesn't say when.
it doesn't say when, doesn't say what, could be email, could be a phone call to a defunct number, but consent is what I do every day with patients. I sit down with mom and daughter and say, look, if you do this, it could cause XYZ permanent disabilities here. And do you really want to go through this?
I know women right now who have had abortions that can't even have another child. That's why I said can't have kids anymore.
Yeah.
Cannot have children at all. And that was it for them because it affects you physically. You just don't know what's going to happen. And don't even get me started on the mental and the physical. I mean, the mental and the spiritual side of it for myself. And I'm speaking for me, for Gerald and Denny, myself. It took me, I repented and asked the Lord to forgive me, because I wasn't walking with him the way that I should have. And he protected me even in all that, right? But I did not realize the downside, the mental stress, the angle, and the spiritual side effects of the abortion until later. And people don't talk about. That's one thing they don't talk about. That women, don't do it. Don't do it. Now I've got to ask this question because I've been curious about this. Now, as you can tell, I'm a little radical, Dr. Peck. I'm radical for Jesus. Let's be real. How is it that if you kill a pregnant woman, it's a double homicide, but they don't consider it killing a baby? It's just a fetus when the person have an abortion. I don't understand.
It's wanted
Can
versus unwanted. It's like when I was training in medical school, on one side of the street, we had Suzanne's abortion clinic. And if you didn't want those babies at 22 weeks, they were getting killed. And on the other side was Carl Hospital. And we were spending millions of dollars to save those preemies just because they were wanted. It makes no sense.
I was watching a video. My son, my oldest son, sent me this video. He think he's a comedian. I got to share it with you. I forgot to share it with you. And in the video, this lady said, "It's been a year since the overturn of Roe v. Wade, and the government did this to me." And she pointed to her pregnant belly and said, "The government is forcing me to be responsible because I now have to decide who I'm going to have sex with and not have sex with and how the sex." But that's real stuff.
Right. And people need to take responsibility. Men need to be in the picture. I mean, this whole abortion
Oh,
thing takes men. What about the men that want their babies? We don't even consider their feelings.
I know someone right now. Years ago, his girlfriend had an abortion. He found out about it, and then he was invited. I guess they had like mass funerals or something for aborted babies, and he went to one of those, and he was holding an aborted baby in a box. And as he was walking, he came to grips and to terms with what had happened, and him being a father and realizing that this baby is gone. He said he just broke down and just
I
cried.
know we
He
sweep it
he
under the rug.
and men, you forget about the men. You forget about all those things. We've got to take a break. I want to talk about this video when I come back again. Don't go anywhere, guys. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to Today with Pastor Jay.
Returned.
Which means they've been making abortion illegal all over the place.
So these are dark times.
These are dark.
Video is 2 minutes and 11 seconds. I'm just going to play it. If I tell you to stop it, we'll just stop. Okay, we'll just go with it. I'm not even going to do an intro. It's that important. Let's go. Just start it, and then I'll tell you when to stop.
Since Roe v. Wade was overturned.
Which means they've been making abortion illegal all over the place.
So these are dark times.
These are dark times.
Dark times.
Dark times.
Un tiempo muy oscuro. Because now that Roe v. Wade is overturned, a woman can get pregnant just from having sex.
I'm not seriously considering going down the dangerous path of abstinence until marriage.
I find myself in this really bizarre state where I'm asking guys about things like their values and trustworthiness before sleeping with them.
Before a girl will have sex with me now, she's asking me all these dumb questions like, do you love me? And what happens if I get pregnant? And do you have a job? Like, I don't know.
Abortion being illegal where I live has definitely raised the bar for which men I'll date and have sex with. And that's a terrible thing.
It used to be that if I got a girl pregnant, I would just force her to get an abortion. And I can't do that anymore. And that's awful.
I can't tell you how many first dates I've had in the last year where no sex happens. All we do is talk about who we are and get to know each other.
Ladies, if you haven't done it already, you need to get an IUD. This will make your uterus a toxic and hostile environment like it's supposed to be.
It's like now sex is such a bigger deal. It's not just about me using someone else's body to get myself off.
It's like the government is making me responsible for a bunch of stuff I shouldn't be responsible for, like my sex life and my children.
Why would I ever want to bring a child into a world like this? A world in which it's illegal to kill children.
I live in constant fear of a baby somehow finding its way into my uterus.
So these are dark times.
Dark times.
Dark times.
The overturning of Roe v. Wade did this to me. The Supreme Court of the United States put this inside of my body.
Okay, so new idea here. I think that a man and a woman, before they have sex, need to draw up some sort of contract that says, I promise to take care of you and you promise to take care of me, and we both promise to take care of any kids that we produce together. I mean, like, I know it's new, I know it's shocking, I know it's out there, but that kind of contract is the only way that I see us moving forward.
That's marriage.
No, it's not.
Dr. Peck, I had to play that video.
It's awesome.
It blows my mind. The government did this to me.
What
Girl, you opened your legs. Let's be real. And look, I have the utmost sensitivity for those who have been sexually assaulted. I want to be very, very clear because I'm a survivor of sexual assault. I'm not talking about that less than 2%. I'm not talking about that less than 2%. I'm talking about the 98%. Not the rape, the incest, and all that, because we can discuss all of it, but let's just focus on the 98%, because I think everyone can agree on that. We can debate the less than 2%, because I can talk about that too, because I still believe that God created us. He knew us before we was formed in our mother womb. But you know what? That's an argument for another day. Let's just focus on this over 98%, where people are using abortion as birth control.
Right. And they didn't like that Governor DeSantis and our legislature, made this heartbeat protection law. When a baby has a beating heart, that's a sign that that baby's alive. And so they voted on this heartbeat protection law, which just went into effect in May. And then, of course, everybody said, oh, 6 weeks is not enough time to know that you're pregnant, even though I've been pregnant 8 times and knew from the moment that I was pregnant, went to the dollar store and got me a pregnancy test and knew I was pregnant. 6 weeks is enough time, but maybe we could argue, maybe there's people out there that say it's not enough time. Okay, so we could come back to the legislature next year and say, okay, maybe it's 8 weeks or maybe it's 10 weeks.
Or maybe they can keep their legs closed.
Or
Just
maybe
saying.
or maybe that.
What happened to abstinence? What happened to let's get married? And I say this, oh, you just a little preacher girl, whatever. But let me tell you, sex is not a single person's business. Single people need to stay out of married people business. Let me just be real. Okay. All right. I said it. Go ahead.
And it's not a recreational hobby. So now dark versus light, we're dealing with the reality in each state. Each state is now grappling with the limits of abortion. So we could argue about, okay, 6 weeks is okay, 8 weeks is okay. But your comments about personal responsibility are so important because it's each of our responsibility. But look, the current law on the books has exceptions for rape, incest, sexual trafficking, life of the mother, and fatal fetal abnormalities.
And people, they're not talking about that. They're not saying that. They think it's all of it.
Right.
That's why I said, let's just talk about the 98%, over 98%.
Right. So the current law has exceptions. Maybe the current law is not perfect, but they're trying to get you to jump to this extreme Amendment 4, which is going to allow abortions up until like the day before birth by non-physicians and get rid of your parental consent of minors. That should be scary to everybody. That's not about patient safety. They really
And
care.
this isn't a political issue. This is about life. That's what this is about. This is about life. This is about what matters. And there's so many households without children who would love to adopt a child. Let's work on our adoption laws. We can do that. But right now, the focus is Amendment 4. Vote no on Amendment 4. You do not want my nail tech that I have to, she did not want to give me French last time because it was too much for her to do. So she convinced me to get a color, which I don't like colors all the time. I'm just saying she wouldn't do a French manicure. And I know, I'm talking to you, but I'm real good friends with her. We do not want her going in there aborting babies. I'm just saying.
And taking a weekend course and think only OBGYNs should be doing late term abortions. And a note about late term abortions, there's no reason for them. If you don't want your baby and you're in the 25th or 26th week, it takes longer to have that late term abortion. You got to ripen the cervix. You got to inject some deathly substance into the baby, digoxin or saline. Then you got to deliver that baby. It can take 3 to 5 days. Why not just give the woman a quick C-section, take that baby and give it to the millions of people that would love to have your baby, and that baby could be adopted? Governor DeSantis put like $65 million to bolster adoption services with the current bill,
Mm.
but that doesn't get talked about either.
Dr. Peck, I've heard a little bit of your story, and you too are post-abortive.
I am, as are many of the 700 plus physicians that are speaking out about Amendment 4.
How does this make you feel?
That's why I'm running around the state for the last 6 months. I had to do it. Unfortunately, I always knew I was adopted. By 17, I didn't have a close relationship. I didn't understand personal responsibility, and I was pregnant. And I had an abortion in a very lax state up in Connecticut. It didn't require ultrasound so that I could see I was killing a baby. It didn't require waiting periods. And I had that abortion, and it led me down a very bad path of drug use and alcohol use, and I was in a very bad place. And then I had a second abortion. As you know, Geraldine, many people have second and third abortions because they figure,
I'm
"Hey,
a witness.
it was legal. It must be okay. It must be." So
Hey.
get the second one. And then I'm in a really dark place at age 25. I'm in New York. I always knew I was adopted. I went to a counselor that said, "Hey, you need to find out, why'd your mom give you up? You need to have closure on that. Find out that, you're lovable. Maybe you're doing this because you're seeking love." Well, I tried to find out about my biological mom, but the records were closed. But I did find non identifying information. And what I learned dropped me to my knees. And the Lord Jesus Christ hit me between my eyes because I found out that my mother had been raped. She had been one of the 1 to 2%.
Wow.
And she actually, and her doctor convinced her to have the baby. Here was a home for
How
unwed mother.
how brave your mother
How
was.
brave, and
how
that
brave she
the
was to put
doctor,
you up.
a real doctor, gave real health care and made it possible for her to carry me up until birth. And when I heard that story, it changed my life. I got into medical school. I learned all I could about the beginning of life. I met my husband in residency. We closed the local abortion clinic, and God gave me 6 beautiful children afterwards. And I know
Isn't he amazing how he just gives us grace and mercy and just go, here's some more babies. Here's some more
because
babies.
he wanted us to understand
Yes.
what we did wrong. And you can only do that when you have a child and you're looking at that beautiful child and you say, "Oh my God, I understand now what I've done." And it's like a dagger in your heart.
It is.
It's bittersweet, but now I understand. And that's why I'm fighting so hard against Amendment 4.
I'm going to say this because my mom is very transparent about this, but my oldest brother is here today, and my mother was raped when she was 12 years old.
Praise God.
She was 12 and was raped. And I love my big brother. I love him and he loves me. And my mom, I got to give it to her, brave at 12.
Oh my God.
Brave at 12.
What could be done?
And maybe not that's not something everybody could do, right? But let's talk about that 98%. We got to take a break. Don't go anywhere. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to Today with Pastor Jay. Okay, so we've got 3 minutes. Let's see what part of this amendment we want to talk about. The parental consent.
Can we talk about the lying that they're doing on the TV, women not getting health care?
Yes,
with
let's
the
do about that.
doctors?
Okay. Let's talk. That's a good one. That's a real good one because they are lying quite a bit. They are quite. Okay, are you ready? I'm going to give you a thank you and a shout out to Church on the Rock and Massage by Natalie. Thank you so very much for sponsoring Today with Pastor Jay. Keep me on the radio. So I've been watching the news, the TV, and I'm getting these crazy commercials. And I've been wanting to throw stuff at the TV going, "That's a lie. That's a lie." Tell me about some of the lies that the other side is saying.
Oh my gosh. Well, they won't talk about their amendment, what's in it, because they don't define anything. They're trying to convince people that current doctors can't take care of people with botched abortions. Doctors can't take care of women that have had problems. First of all, the 2 main women that had problems, they would be alive today had they not taken the abortion pills. But
that abortion pill is something else.
That-
and then people lie about how far along they are, and they
Exactly.
go take this abortion pill, and then what do you think gonna happen?
It's not going to work like it
It's
should.
not going to work like
Right.
it should. And when you talk about severing this and that and everything, the placenta and all that, and you've got a later term pregnancy in there, that abortion pill not working.
It's not going to work, and the rate of complications goes up drastically. But make no mistake, the current law, of course, we can take care of women that are bleeding or having complications. Now, if they come to the ER and say they're 20 weeks and want an abortion, no. But if they're coming with life-threatening complications, we have to take care of them or we get sued.
That's real health care.
That's real healthcare. And by the way, I'm in a network of physicians that reverse chemical abortion. So I have a lot of women
Oh,
that they
wow.
take that first pill and they say, I don't want to go through this. And of course, they go to Planned Parenthood and they're having the pain and the cramping with the pill. Well, Planned Parenthood isn't anywhere around. So they call their trusted doctor, me, or one of their doctors, or
Mm.
get into a hotline.
Oh, yeah. Don't get me started on Planned Parenthood because Margaret Singer, all she wanted to do was kill black babies in the womb. She's
right.
very successful, I might add.
That's right. But there is a network, Heartbeat International. It's a hotline, and you can call us if you're between 2 weeks and 9 weeks, and you took the abortion pill and you want to reverse it. We give you a progesterone protocol. I had a lady that called me on Mother's Day. I was a bit annoyed because I was trying to enjoy my Mother's Day, but on Christmas Day she gave birth to a baby boy. It was a
Look
beautiful.
at that.
We can save those babies.
Speaking of Christmas Day, those of you who don't know, go to my website, Geraldine.org, Jearlyn.org, and there's a picture of 4 tellies. They're like Grammys, but they're called tellies. I won 4 telly awards for my pro-life video, and it's based on what if Mary had an abortion. And she was the statistic. She was pregnant by someone who wasn't her husband. She wasn't married. Young. She had brown skin, all of that. What if Mary had an abortion? So it made me think about that. He was talking about the baby that was born on Christmas Day. How cool is that?
And really the Blessed Mother, Jesus and Mary, I have been thinking about a lot. And I really feel like if we ask her for help in this battle against 4, she's going to deliver.
Well, I can tell you this. I know one who will. And his name is Jesus Christ, the name that's above all names. But thank you so very much and for sharing your story. And remember, guys, vote no on 4. And I'm going to throw this in there. Vote no on 3. That marijuana bill is not what you think it is. I've got family calling me from New York talking about it's nasty. They getting contact highs in their backyards, on public transportation, out in everywhere. Vote no on 3 and definitely vote no on 4. Thank you so very much, Dr. Peck. It's an honor having you here. All right, guys, you know what I say? Yesterday's gone. Tomorrow's not promised. What are you going to do today? Today, you're going to pray. You're going to ask the Lord to lead you. And guess what? If you are a Christian, don't go in there on Tuesday and vote like you're an atheist. Just saying. Just saying. God bless you. Have a great day.